Stabbing at Michigan Airport appears to be a terrorist act. On Wednesday morning, a police officer was stabbed at Bishop Airport in Flint, Michigan. The FBI is investigating if anyone else was involved, but currently view the assailant as a lone wolf attacker. Bishop Airport police officer Lieutenant Jeff Neville was at his post at the top of the escalators when he was attacked from behind. The suspect reportedly shouted Allahu Akbar before stabbing the officer in the neck. Authorities say the suspect is from Quebec and holds a Canadian passport. The wounded officer was in stable condition after undergoing surgery. CNN reported a U.S. official as saying that based on preliminary information, the 50-year-old assailant had traveled between the U.S. and Canada multiple times. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Keep watching for more stories about attacks at airports. Florida airport shooting caught on camera. Security camera footage has emerged showing the horrific moment when an Iraq War veteran opened fire in a deadly shooting at the Fort Lauderdale airport on Friday. 5 people were killed and at least 13 others were wounded when 26-year-old gunman Esteban Santiago pulled a 9mm handgun out of his waistband and began firing indiscriminately. The footage was obtained by TMZ. The video shows Santiago walking casually through the baggage claim area of Terminal 2 at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport before producing a pistol and pulling the trigger. Terrified passengers can then be seen fleeing in fear and ducking for cover as Santiago continues the attack. Santiago traveled from Anchorage to Minneapolis on Thursday night. He then flew to Fort Lauderdale, landing on Friday afternoon. After arrival, Santiago claimed his bag and went to the restroom, where he took out his gun and loaded it. The former U.S. Army reservist then started shooting at people in the baggage claim area. Shocked bystanders ran for their lives, and it was only when the gunman ran out of bullets that he finally stopped shooting. A witness said Santiago threw his gun to the ground and lay down after the gunfire stopped. According to a criminal complaint filed by federal prosecutors, Santiago has confessed to the attack. Santiago was on the FBI's radar and had spoken to agents just weeks ago when he said his mind was being controlled by U.S. intelligence. Authorities are still trying to establish a motive for the attack. Santiago now faces 3 federal charges that all carry the possibility of the death penalty. Armed suicide bombers attack Istanbul airport. Turkish Prime Minister Binali Yildirim said ISIS was responsible for an attack on Tuesday in which Turkey's main airport became the latest target in a string of recent bombings in the country. At least 36 people were killed and 147 others were injured in a terrorist attack at Istanbul's Ataturk airport. Reports said 2 gunmen armed with AK-47 rifles exchanged fire with security guards at the entrance to the international terminal. One of the attackers detonated a suicide bomb outside the terminal building. A third suicide bomber blew himself up in a multi-story car park opposite the terminal. Witnesses said one of the attackers opened fire inside the terminal. He was shot by a police officer before detonating a suicide bomb. Ataturk Airport is the 3rd busiest airport in Europe and the 11th busiest in the world. The attack on the airport is the 7th terrorist atrocity in Turkey since October last year. ISIS and Kurdish militants have carried out a series of bombings in Istanbul and Ankara that have killed dozens and hit Turkey's tourism industry. Crazy dude rages through New Orleans airport with a machete. Newly released surveillance footage shows the moment a psycho pulled out a machete and began attacking people at New Orleans International Airport last March. The disturbing incident began around 7:30 p.m. on March 20th, with Richard White calmly walking towards a TSA line, holding a paper bag. He violently sprays the crowd with wasp spray before pulling out a machete from his waistband and attempting to slash people. The 63-year-old targeted another TSA agent, spraying him in the face before chasing him with the blade. The maniac was inches away from claiming his first victim, but was stopped by 3 shots from local cop Heather Silv. White died the next day after refusing treatment due to his beliefs as a Jehovah's Witness. Officials also found a Molotov cocktail, grill lighter, and plastic letter opener in the paper bag White dropped during the attack, and have since deemed his shooting as justified. say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
Dozens dead in coordinated terror attacks on airport and metro in Brussels. Nearly 24 people have died following a series of suicide bombing attacks at the airport and a metro station in the Belgian capital on Tuesday. The attacks began shortly before 8 a.m. Tuesday at Zaventem Airport in Brussels. Witnesses said at least one blast occurred near the check-in desk of American Airlines. Early media reports said the death toll at the airport was at least 11 people, with many more left injured. About 75 minutes later, a bomb rocked the Malbec metro station, killing at least 15 people. The terror attacks put the city on lockdown. Belgian Prime Minister Charles Michel warned the public against any unnecessary movement.